right.
Next question.
Billy.
Yeah. Have you heard of this term, super connector, and what is the role of these super connectors in helping, like, helping domains of knowledge that aren't talking to each other to communicate and collaborate, and the role of super connectors also to have an intuition about what things might have something that's synergistic between some people.
I think the superconnectors are a mathematization and subset of a much stronger term, socialite. The positive social role of socialites is to be full-time superconnectors. That is, people who know many individuals and have in their recall immediately the skill sets of those individuals. But unlike superconnectors, right? Superconnectors aren't implied usually to be tracking people's emotional states. I actually think the socialite tracks people's emotional states, thereby is essentially a matchmaker for teams. And I think because the financial mechanisms are terrible for matchmaking teams, you have to rely on social mechanisms. So I would actually say that the best superconnectors are socialites in very well developed scenes that they have gardened, where the social incentives are connected with the right type of economic privilege so that the people providing social goods are compensated economically. If you try to make it all be market driven, it just doesn't work out somehow, or it's super tricky to get right. So what you actually have to do is, I'm invoking privilege as a technical concept. In many concepts, privilege is strictly negative, but I think here it's actually positive because it allows economic abundance for a limited scene of people. And then if the social incentives are correct in that limited scene of people, the socialites can do their work full time and it becomes ludicrously intellectually productive. I would say the Royal Society was originally this. Basically bored aristocrats inviting each other to check out each other's etchings, right? Come see my etchings. Oh, I mean, come see my rock collection, or come see my plant collection, or come see my telescope. Isn't this a fabulous curiosity? Come see my library. The integration of social life, intellectual contribution, and economic abundance that you see in the Royal Society is sounds fabulous if you would describe this in concrete terms to anyone who today is laboring as an academic or as a programmer, as whatever. It's in those conditions, generativity is given, right? You are competing to be as generative as you can be. And I think that those are very difficult to set up. I think some scenes in music and art recreate this because the artists have this alchemy where, they find to have an earnest relationship between the patron with some money and taste and the creative person with the actual energy. There's a genuine social relationship between them. It doesn't feel negative. If it feels negative, this means the social fabric isn't there. So if it feels exploitative, this already means something has gone wrong. This already means the scene is not as creative culturally as it could be. So sorry, instead of just answering a narrow question about superconnectors, I pointed to a different type of social ideal, and then I talked too much about this social technology that's, I think, behind societies, research societies, and behind salons, and behind the creation of many fields. I would argue it's not just the Royal Society, the origin of archaeology came out of this same type of social environment, where people who are already well off sort of competing with each other on the creation of knowledge and having both enough intellectual and social savvy to enough social savvy to not be crackpots and enough intellectual savvy to not be charlatans. Cool. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Great. Sid.